Is all of the construction coming along well over there? I'd like to get into that new house as soon as possible. It looks like it. I'd say to give the contractors a little bit longer and they'll have the new house ready for us. Really? So things are moving along pretty quickly. It's only been a month since they started to work on the house, right? Well, you've been asking for the house to be done ASAP, so I've been talking to the construction company and pushing them to get things done sooner rather than later. I see. So even you, who's pretty much useless to me, can still have your rare uses from time to time. We'll be selling the old house. That's fine with you, right? And that means you'll never have to go back to that old place anymore. I don't plan on going back to the old house anymore, but I do think we should wait a little bit before selling it. I think even after moving out of the place, we should still give ourselves a little bit of time to prepare the new house and get all of the things we want to out of that old place. But we'll be wasting money by holding on to that house longer. I want that place gone right now, if possible. If that's what you really want, Mom, then I'm not going to stop you. But let's just wait until we're able to move into this new place before selling that house. What is with you talking to me like that? Do you think you're in the position to be commanding your mom around like that? Wait, I wasn't commanding you to do anything, actually. I'm just giving my bit of input is all. Hoping that it might help the situation with selling the old house is all. Do you even realize that the job you work full-time is that of a janitor? Someone who works such a low-level job as that should not be giving me any form of input into my matters. Here we go again with you talking about me that way. The only reason I became a janitor in the first place is to help you out after losing Dad a while back. It was a rough time for you then, and I thought it was the right thing to do as your guys' daughter. At the time, the only job that was available was that of becoming a janitor, so that's the one I took. I didn't need any of your help then, but I'm finally around to having a brand new house built for me to live in. I'm very shocked to see that you, of all people, are able to buy land and a house with the kind of work you're continuing to do. I'm glad to see you doing something for me this time, finally giving me the real help I've needed. Well, as long as you're happy to be getting a new house, I'm happy. Now, from what I'm being told, by the end of the week, the house should be ready to go. I'm really looking forward to it. Carter, is what Mom was saying to me really true?
What was she saying to you?
About you moving in and living with her. You didn't mean any of that as the whole family all living in the house together, but rather just you and your family with Mom, right?
Well, of course that's what I meant. Mom has no reason to be living together with you in that brand new house. She despises every little bit of you, and I don't blame her.
Despise me? So even you find it okay for her to look down on me like that?
Well, she's looked down on you for the longest time now, and so have I. But I have to admit that I'm pleased by you. Because if it weren't for all the work you've put in, I wouldn't be able to move into a newly built house with my mom. And I hear that there's a separate house being built as well.
A separate house? Did you really hear about everything from her? All you paid for regarding this house was the land.
I'm so glad I took out a loan for that. Now I'll be able to be back in the same house as her, and we can be one big happy family again. Of course, you're not going to be a part of that, right?
I see. Carter, you don't seem to understand any of what's going on with this new place then. Well, so be it. Mom happens to love you with all her heart, so it'll be perfect for you to come and live with her again. I really hope you guys are able to live happily together again. Somewhere, of course. I can see that the house is complete now. Both Carter and I came to see the place for ourselves. It's a bit smaller than what the two of us were thinking, but oh well. Now, you can leave the rest of the moving in to us, all right? What? What are you talking about, Mom? And actually, why have you and Carter gone to see the new house without me already? Wait, did we not tell you about this before? I've decided that I'll be living in this house together with Carter and his wife. What? Arya, I never planned on living together with you inside this brand new house you built for me. I'm sorry, but I want you to continue paying off the loan on this place, and then after you've done that, go find a home of your own to live in. So, wait, does this mean that this whole time you've been wanting to use me to get that house built for you, but never intended on actually letting me move in with you there? Well, you knew this was coming, right? Why do I have to let you come and live in my new house with me? I've gotten my new house from you now, so there's no more use being around you. Now, you and that low-level job you work can leave me for good. So you had me pay for that whole house for you just to say something like that on the day we should both be moving in there? You should have known something like this was coming, considering you're working such an awful job. Why are you so surprised by what I'm saying now? Did you actually think someone that works as a janitor could move into a newly built home? Aria, you're not like the rest of my family, and I mostly consider you a stranger. I have been working as a janitor in order to give you a new house and support a more relaxed life for you. That's why this whole time I've been working so hard with those contractors to have the house built. You've known about how much I've been saving up for this house, right? How many years it's taken me? And you did a fine job, beyond my expectations. But I never once said that you'd be allowed to come and live in this new house with me, right? I've always wanted to have my amazing son and his lovely wife move in here with me. Those two will be able to give me grandchildren as well, right? That will lead to a life where every day is wonderful for us. What? So it's for that reason that you're going to simply toss me aside now? Of course it is. I'm afraid that when you start needing money from us, you're going to latch on to all of us like some kind of blood-sucking leech and will never let go. So in order to avoid that possibility, I'm making sure we get rid of you right now. Get rid of me? What is wrong with you, Mom? But yeah, whatever, I guess. I understand how things are going to be now. I can finally understand what's been going on inside that head of yours. You must have always thought of me as some idiot that you could take advantage of, huh? I never said you were an idiot, but you might be onto something there. Now, I will thank you this one time for getting me a new house to live in with my beautiful son and his lovely wife. But I do want this house to only be for myself and his family, so you're going to have to stay away. All right, then. I'll get out of here right away. And never come back to the house again. That won't be a problem at all for me. I'm going to follow through with what you've asked from me and leave this place forever. Although I'm not really leaving the place because I never moved in to start with. So I'll make sure I don't have my things taken over there. But now that I feel pretty heartbroken by what's all happened here, I wonder if it'd be alright to just tear that place down? You know, that newly built house. Huh? Have you gone mad now? Stop talking about such a reckless thing. How about instead of going crazy and diving off the deep end, you go out and get yourself a real paying job? I can tear down that house, right? It's the house I had built, after all. If you really think you could do such a thing, then go right ahead and try it. But you'll only end up realizing that your word means nothing in this world, and that nobody is going to care to listen to you. This is our house, after all. And once I've told Carter and his wife about how you're not around here anymore, they will be so pleased. This is all so great, isn't it? You were able to put all your life savings into making sure that me and my family are happy. Well, since you don't seem to mind me giving it a go, I'll be there tomorrow to have the house torn down. I hope you'll be looking forward to it. What are you planning on doing, Aria? Why would you start doing something like that? Are you completely screwed in the head or something? To actually come here and start tearing down my home? Did you never think that I'd actually show up here with the bulldozer and start having the house plowed down? How does it feel now to have the brand new house you wanted to call home fall into ruin in the blink of an eye? I had made sure to warn you and everything even. Warn me? I never once thought that you'd seriously be coming over here to destroy my house. To see the house that I had just started moving into be crushed into piles of broken wall and frames? Ah, and as a side note, I made sure to finish all the work of having Carter hand me the duty of paying off the loans on the house and land before the place was completed. What? I'm glad he and I worked on getting all of that done days in advance. I had this feeling before actually starting the construction on the place that you'd try to backstab me at some point. So I'm glad I talked with Carter about all of this before the house was completed. You were talking with Carter all this time? What do you mean? You just tore down a freaking house right in front of my eyes. Do you not realize that what you've done is completely mental? The only thing that seems mental to me is the fact that you planned on kicking the owner of the house out right after having the place built and instead have her brother and his wife move in with you. That's pretty messed up if you ask me. So don't start getting upset with me when you were the one who wanted to do crazy things that way from the start. What about what I did was mental? I just wanted to have Carter and his wife live with me and make things right. I don't feel comfortable living with someone who works a job like you're working. You would never be able to care for me in my old age like him and his wife can, right? Oh? Well, did you know that Carter is making a whole lot less than I am right now? What? That's why I was able to pay off that loan so easily for the house. After talking with Carter a little bit about what was going on with the new house, he told me it would be him and his wife moving into it with you and not me. So before the house was completed, I made sure that things like the loan for the house would be handled by me instead of him, and that the name on the place stayed mine. Are you surprised by all of this? So you're telling me that you paid for the house and everything? And even though you were the one who bought it all, you chose to destroy it? Do you think doing something like that is even remotely okay? You were the one asking me to go right ahead and try it, though. I was? What was I asking you to try? You said that if I thought I could tear down the house, to go ahead and try it. So that's why I went ahead and gave it all a try. Did I not hear you right or something when you said all that to me? Of course you didn't hear me correctly, and now you've really gone and done it. Why would you do something like this to me? Where are we going to be living at now? Well, you were never going to be living in that new house with me, actually. Huh? But the house was just finished being built and we had already started getting things ready to move in. Mom, do you really think that a house like that can be built so easily in 1 month? Both you and Carter don't seem to have any common sense. What are you talking about? What are you trying to say about the two of us? The only thing that Carter ended up buying was the land for the house. What? And the only thing I ended up putting on that land was a prefabricated home. Had you actually planned on having the whole family, including me, be moving into a new house on that land, I would have had a proper house built to hold everyone in it comfortably. Hold on a second. I'm not really sure what you're getting at here. But after hearing from Carter that you only planned on having him and his wife move in with you and were going to kick me out, well, I made up a plan to turn the tables on both of you. I thought that just having a big prefab house built on the land would convince you both, and it wouldn't cost me all that much money to do. And since I was the one that paid for it, I'm the one who has the right to tear it apart, right? I don't think you should be tearing something like that apart, though. So you're trying to tell me that the house you had built there wasn't meant for anyone to live in? The inside of that place was completely empty, right? There was no way anyone would be living in that house just yet. But of course, you guys thought all of that would work, right? And that's why you started to get ready to move in, right? And with what you told me yesterday, I was able to confirm that you were in fact not going to let me live there with you guys. And that I'd be forced to go out and buy my own house thereafter. So you're telling me that this was all a trap for me? You set me up for this? You are messed up for setting me up like that. I am your mother, aren't I? What kind of nerves do you have to be lying to your mother like that and setting her up to lose the house she's been waiting for? What was that? I believe it should be me asking you that instead of the other way around. Who was it that lied to me about us both moving into that house together, all while talking down to me because of the job I've been working? Let me ask one other thing. Do you consider yourself a good mother for doing something like that to your own daughter? I am your mother, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want with you. I see. That's quite the opinion you have there. But I guess I don't really care about what you think. I've chosen to cut ties to all of you after what's happened here. And you seem to have been wanting that exact same thing. So don't worry, as you are no longer family to me. Is that going to work for you? That is 100% okay with me. You're not my daughter anymore and never ever will be again. And that's because you just went and destroyed my dream home. That was your dream home? I guess not all of us happen to have the same expectations when it comes to homes then. It wasn't even a house at all though, really. It was just a prefab that I had placed on the land to test and see what you and Carter have really been up to. Of course, had you actually both gone ahead and made it look like you'd actually allow all of us to live in that house, then I was going to go ahead and build the house up properly. That prefab could have been used, and I could have had the contractors that I hired put in some real work to turn the place into an actual home. But the moment I told you the place was finished, you turned on me and said I was not to come live there with you guys. After hearing that from you, I knew what I had to do.
What do you mean you knew what you had to do after hearing that from me?
After hearing that, I knew that you and I couldn't make it work anymore. You think of me as nothing more than a stranger, and now I feel the same about you.
And who cares about any of that now? It's over with. If you want to leave me and Carter behind forever, then go ahead and do so. But once you've left us, what are we going to do about a house?
What do you mean?
I've already gone and sold the old house. It's in the hands of the realtors now, and all I have left to do is clean the rest of my things out of it. Where am I going to live now?
Well, before that house is completely sold by the realtors, you better find yourself a new house, and fast. Go ask your favorite child to help you out with all of that as well. Actually, you've already gone and bought some land now, so why not build a place there? That's, of course, after you guys take out some loans to do so for the place. I was able to afford a prefab no problem, so why not start with something like that?
Why is someone like you, who works as a janitor, able to afford more than Carter can? There is something wrong with all that. You are working one of the lowest jobs on the planet.
Say whatever you like about the work I do. You have to remember that in Carter's case, he left his old job after getting married and used whatever money he had to pay for the wedding. And it's only been 2 years since then, and he's just gone now from being a contractor for the new company he's at to working as a full-time employee there. He's already taken out a loan to pay for the land that the house was going to be built on, so until he pays that off, don't expect much money to come from him. But unlike him in his situation, I've been working for 10 years now. Did you know that?
What? It's been that long now?
I've been the one taking my career very seriously, even with you making fun of my job as a janitor. But of course, I'm the one running the company that supplies janitors to companies, so it's not like I'm the one doing all of the dirty work. I happen to be a part of HR, as the leader, actually, and I'm the one that makes the calls on who's hired and who's not, as well as gives input into where we have the company go next. I'm able to make a lot of money, actually, even though you keep believing that I'm working a low-level job. I have to say this job has been very good to me, and I've never had to worry about money for the last 8 years.
What? You're a janitor, but you don't clean or anything?
Just because I'm working for a janitorial company, that does not mean I'm directly a janitor. Yes, I've worked as one for a few years, but after that, I started working in HR and moved up from there.
I had no idea that's what was going on there. Are you trying to tell me that you're a regular office worker then?
I wouldn't say regular. Like I said, I'm in charge of the HR department and have a say in a lot of things the company does. Just know that I'm probably making way more than Carter is and will ever make, most likely.
I never knew about any of that. Why did you never say anything to me sooner? Shouldn't you be telling me things like that? Had I known about your real position in that company, I would have changed the way I talk and act around you.
I really don't care about how you talk and treat me, Mom. You've always loved Carter way more than me and never once actually told me that you cared and loved me. It was very clear that you did not want to be bothered with me any, so don't try and make it seem like you would have done so now had you known I had money. I know about how when I told you I'd be building a new house for us two, you immediately called Carter and started talking with him about having him come live with you.
Why do you know about all of that? I never said a thing to you about what I've been talking about with Carter.
You must have forgotten the most important thing about your son, that he's a complete imbecile. Right after you started talking to him about your plans, he turned to me and told me all about it. Bragging about it, actually. About how you always choose to be around him and never me because you despise me, that sort of thing.
Carter did all of that?
Had I never heard anything about that from him, I would have never known that you were going to use me and kick me out the moment the house was ready.
And that's why you talked with him about paying for the house?
Had I never heard a thing from Carter, I would have let him pay for the land and house and just helped pay for the contractors and things like that. But after he told me everything, I said he could pay for the land with his loan and I'd take care of the house for him. And that's when I went out and bought that prefab to see how it would all turn out. Carter didn't even bother to question what I was doing there and just went along thinking it was all okay. He thought that me buying a prefab like that instead of having a proper house being built just meant that he was going to be getting a home for even cheaper.
So you played both of us!
I did? I was never playing you guys. Your son just happens to be a complete idiot. I told him my plans for the house, and instead of him questioning any of it, he just went on his merry way. And remember, I had tried to stop you from selling your old house so early. But you didn't care to listen to anything I was saying.
I thought we'd be able to move into a new house, so of course I wanted my old place gone.
Well, just know that I'm going to be all right after today. I went out and bought my own land and a house to have built on it.
What? You did that without telling me anything?
Without telling you? I don't have to tell you anything about myself. I'm an adult now, and that all has to do with my life. I'm sure that without a place to live now, you and Carter and his wife are going to be left on the streets. But that's what you all deserve, right? Good luck with that, you freaking toxic idiots. In the end, Arya went ahead and started to ignore anything that her mom and brother would say to her and focused all her attention on the new house she was having built in order to start her new life. However, for both her old mother and her stupid brother, they were both left with no place to live and had to move into an old, run-down apartment outside of town. Having to live in such a small and disgusting place together really began to stress out Carter's wife. And before long, she got a divorce from him and moved out to find a better man for herself. This then led to both Carter and his mom getting into fights every single day, all while there was barely any income, making each day feel as though they were pretty much homeless. I think that Arya made the right choice in setting her mother up for failure this way and saved herself a lot of trouble by getting her own place before making her final move.
Hey Megan, how are you doing? It's been a long time since we last spoke. I was just wondering if you were well.
Carl? Yeah, it really has been a long time. I'm fine. I'm doing much better without you. So, what do you want? You've got a lot of nerve talking to me after everything you did. It's already been months since you left, and you suddenly want to have a chat? Just to let you know, I'm not interested in catching up or making up with you.
I just want to know how you've been recently, that's all. You don't have to be so defensive. You must be feeling lonely living all by yourself in that house without me, right? You can't have completely forgotten about me already.
Lonely? That's a great joke. I stopped feeling lonely 3 seconds after you walked out the door. Honestly, I felt more angry and sad. But it's already been months. I'm not sad about you anymore. I'm disappointed and still angry enough to not want to have anything to do with you, but otherwise, I'm doing really well. I'm grateful to our lawyers that our divorce went so smoothly and that it was all over so quickly. Thanks to that, I didn't have to meet you in court as often as I expected.
Alright, I'm kinda shocked. I thought that you would still feel something for me. I mean, it's only been 6 months, you know? You can't have gotten over me that quickly, can you? I kinda feel like we've really grown apart. I feel like there's a massive distance between us now. We used to be husband and wife, and we were in love. And we lived together, ate dinner together. But look at us now. We're so far apart.
Huh? What's your point, Carl? I told you that I'm not interested in talking to you. That includes getting nostalgic about how things used to be. And what do you expect? I don't know where you're living right now, but of course we're far apart, physically and emotionally. We're divorced, and we're never going to see each other ever again. We're complete strangers now. You're no different to any stranger I pass on the street. The difference between you and a stranger is that I would rather have a conversation with any random person rather than speak with you.
Megan, don't be so cold. You don't have to be so harsh towards me. I used to be your husband.
The key words are used to be. That was until you won the lottery and suddenly started acting like you were better than me. Yeah, it was a lot of money, but I don't understand how you could have changed so much in just a matter of hours. You threw me away on the day you won that lottery, and you're telling me that I'm being cold? I don't have anything to say, and I have no intention of being kind to an idiot like you.
Trust me, I feel really bad for what I did. I know I've been an idiot. That's why I messaged you today. I did something terrible, but I wish you could just talk to me. I'm really sorry. I hurt your feelings. I thought about what I did since then, and I've reflected on my actions. I regret ever doing something so stupid and impulsive. I should have been more rational when we were talking about the winnings, and shouldn't have reacted like that. No, I should have listened to what you said more carefully. You were being so reasonable about what to do with the money, and I wrecked our marriage because I was so selfish. I regret all of that and more.
The fact that you're saying that now means you're in the situation I predicted you'd end up in all those months ago, right? I hate to rub it in, but I told you so. I can't believe it took you so long to realize how wrong you were. I could see it coming from a mile away, but I guess you just had to experience it firsthand.
I know, I was stupid and I'm sorry. I finally realized that you warned me that this would happen for my sake. I was too blinded by the money to understand that you were only thinking of me. I wish I could go back in time and change everything, but I can't. I was so stupid and I regret it all.
Yeah, you were so stupid. And horrible, too. I get that winning $3 million was a big deal. It's a lot of money, and it's not every day that such a large amount of money comes into hand. I think anyone would panic and get big ideas about how they want to spend their newfound fortune. I was pretty shocked too, and I won't lie, I thought about all the amazing things we could buy too. But the way you reacted was abnormal. Once you knew you had the winning ticket, nothing else mattered to you. You only cared about yourself and the money.
I wasn't thinking straight. It was like I was in a dream state. I couldn't help myself.
All I suggested was that we should be sensible with how we spend the money and save as much of it as possible for our future together. And keep some money aside in case we had children. I wasn't planning on taking anything from you, and I made no mention of spending it all by myself. But you started raving. Shouting at me that it was your money and that I wasn't allowed to touch a single cent. That it was for you to use the way you wanted to spend it. I never intended to take anything from you, but that's what you assumed. And suddenly, poof, like magic, you were gone, along with the money. You didn't even answer my messages until you sent me the divorce papers. And even then, you only replied that you would give me alimony if I signed the papers. We had been together for 3 years, but all that went down the drain when you got that money and turned into a completely different man. For weeks, I wondered what those 3 years were, if they meant nothing to you. After I stopped being sad, I realized that I had already wasted 3 years, and that I shouldn't waste any more time trying to make sense of what you did.
I know. I was completely at fault. But it was $3 million. Neither of us had even had 1/10 of that amount in our banks at one time. You can imagine why I went so crazy, can't you?
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but that doesn't excuse your behavior. You ranted at me that my parents might come and beg you for money because they're so poor and that you couldn't trust anyone anymore. You were insulting me and my family with every word you said. Because you had all this money, you had this ridiculous idea that you were better than all of us. I never knew you could be so hurtful and obnoxious, and I was shocked that you could change so easily because of some money.
I don't know what got into me. I don't really know why I said any of that. I didn't mean it, you know that, don't you? I regret everything I did and said after that. I wish I could take it all back.
Really? It sounded like you meant it at the time. Don't try and run away from what you did. It's way too late for you to start begging me for forgiveness. I couldn't care any less about how guilty you feel. Your feeling bad isn't going to change anything. Anyway, what do you want? Let's get this over with.
What are you talking about?
There's a reason why you messaged me today, isn't there? I know you didn't just message me so that you could apologize.
No, I really was worried about you. I wanted to show you that it changed and felt bad about what I did. I guess I also wanted to find out what you did with the money I gave you when we divorced. I was just curious about how you spent it, that's all.
Money? That's what you're interested in? You're talking about the lump sum of money you gave me, right? You chose to give me that money instead of sending me regular payments of alimony because you didn't want to risk having to send me alimony payments for the rest of your life, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that money. I gave you $200,000, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. What about it?
What did you do with it?
It's my money, so what does it matter what I did with it? I don't think it's any of your business how I spent it. It's not like you set any conditions for how I spend it when the amount was decided in court.
Yeah, but it was my money to begin with. I think I have a right to know what you've done with it and decide what you do with it regardless of what was decided in court. And if you have any left, I was wondering if you could return it. Since you're so smart when it comes to money, I was hoping you still have a lot left.
No way. You can't seriously be asking for it back. Of course I'm not giving it back. It may have been yours when you had it, but it became mine when you paid it to me as compensation. Do you understand the meaning of the word compensate? You're the one that suddenly asked for a divorce, so I was owed alimony. But you didn't want to pay that, and I didn't want to keep on having to meet you in court, so I settled for that money you gave me. I don't have any obligation to return that money to you. That money was owed to me, and it's mine.
Yeah, it was compensation, but I only gave you a lot of money because I had a lot of my own money at the time. But I'm having trouble right now, and I need some money. It would be great if you could give it back. To be honest, it's my money, so I shouldn't even have to ask you.
What do you mean by trouble? I got married after we divorced. Oh, so the rumors I heard were true. Congratulations! I heard that you married someone. So, how did that turn out for you?
She ran away with all of my money. I never should have married her.
What? All of it? Yeah, can you believe it?
It was $3 million, so I thought that I didn't have to worry about anything for the rest of my life. I thought I could live like a celebrity. So I resigned from my job and had a house built for me and my new wife. We filled it with designer furniture and everything. We even had a pool put in. We were living the perfect life together until one day she suddenly asked for a divorce. After the divorce was finalized, I realized that all of my money had been transferred to her bank account, and she was gone. We were divorced. My account was empty. She had disappeared. She even told her lawyers that I'd been cheating on her, even though I'd never done anything like that. I'd already lost $1 million in compensation during the divorce for an affair I never had, and she took the rest of what was in my account without me even realizing it. I don't know where she is, but the last I heard, she was living in a penthouse apartment abroad.
You said you'd never cheated on her, but she managed to win the court case? That must have meant that she had enough evidence to argue for compensation. You can try and act the victim all you like, but in the end, it was your own fault. Your own irresponsible actions brought all this upon you.
Yeah, fine. She got pictures of me with another woman. But how is it fair that she gets $1 million in the divorce? It's my money!
So you did cheat on her after all. You're a pathetic excuse for a husband.
Yeah, alright. Say all you like. Anyway, that's not my point. I've explained why I need the money. Can you give me back the money I gave you? I need it right now. My ex-wife got the house in the divorce too, so I don't have anywhere to live. She's not even using it, she's abroad. But the woman put it out for sale. I was kicked out of my own house so that she could sell it and take more money from me. Megan, you're still living at the same place we lived in when we were married, right? Can we live together again?
Excuse me? Are you asking if you can move in with me?
Let's just forget about everything that happened in the past and live together. I want us to start over. I'll be a better husband this time. Even if we don't have the $3 million, I know that we can be happy together. I still love you. We can work through this together. I swear I'll make you happy this time.
No way. You must be out of your mind. It's disgusting how you think you can slither your way back into my life again. We're over, and we're never getting back together. Ever. The divorce was finalized, and I'm free of you. I don't have anything else to say to you. Plus, I've already moved out of that house and sold it. I'm living somewhere else.
Well, you moved out. Where are you living now? Are you still close by?
I'm not giving you the details of where, but I'll tell you a bit about it. Thanks to the compensation I got from you, I was able to buy some pretty reasonable shares. I had to be patient, but it went really well. I managed to earn a profit from it.
You bought shares? I never knew that you knew how to do that kind of stuff. Why didn't you tell me when I had the $3 million? We could have made an even bigger fortune.
Don't be stupid, Carl. It was beginner's luck. And of course, I didn't put the entire $200,000 you gave me into buying shares. I invested a reasonable amount and got lucky. Once I made a decent profit, I backed out and put all the money I made into a savings account. Right now, I'm working full-time and using the money I've saved up to live a little more luxuriously. I buy organic and I spend money on the things I love and enjoy. But I still have money saved for a rainy day. Thanks to that, I was able to get a penthouse apartment in a really lovely area. It's not filled with designer furniture, so it might not be as fancy as the place you had, but it's home. I realized early on that it was dangerous to impulse buy when you have so much money at your fingertips, so I try and only buy what I need or really want. I'm doing really well at work too, so everything's going perfectly. Smooth sailing. I was being serious when I said I was doing better without you. Honestly, I'm grateful that you won that lottery, and I'm glad you told me you wanted a divorce when you did. If you hadn't, I would have been stuck with you.
You living in a penthouse apartment too? You're kidding. I never imagined that you would end up being so successful. It's only been 6 months since we divorced. But that's my money you're standing on. You and my other exes, you're both living in luxury thanks to me.
It's money we were owed. I don't know what to say about that money she took from your account, except maybe that it was just karma coming around to bite you in the ass. By the way, how much money do you have saved right now?
About $200?
You can't be serious. You're turning 36 this year, aren't you? You don't have a place to live, you're unemployed, and you only have $200 saved? I would sympathize, but I know that it's all your own fault. What are you planning to do from now on?
I was just kicked out of my own house last week. I haven't been able to find a job yet. I thought that I could sell the house, but my other ex got it in the divorce, so I don't have anything worth selling. I already failed one job interview, and I didn't know what else to do, so I decided to message you, hoping that you could help me.
What about your parents? Why don't you ask them to let you stay with them while you find a place of your own? And a job.
Some idiots in my parents' neighborhood found out that I won $3 million and started harassing my parents. Most of it was really childish, you know, throwing toilet paper around, but they were getting death threats in the mail and stuff too. Some magazines were asking for interviews non-stop. My parents ended up moving away and they cut ties with me. I need your help, Megan. I don't have anyone else.
You're the idiot, Carl. That's the main reason why I warned you about bragging about your win to everyone. Just because you won $3 million doesn't make you better than everyone else. I told you that you shouldn't get carried away, didn't I? But you didn't listen, and you lost a lot of friends and made a lot of enemies in the process.
I know, I regret a lot of what I did. I regret not listening to you the most, because none of this would have happened if I just did as you said. That's why I want to get back together again. I need you to keep me in check.
Sorry, Carl, but I'm not interested in being your babysitter. We're never getting back together. There's not even a 1% chance of it happening.
Why not? I'm not asking you to be my babysitter. I want us to be husband and wife again. We didn't get divorced because we stopped loving each other. You still love me, don't you? We can get back together again.
You must be joking. You're the only one that thinks we still have a chance. I don't know whether you do actually still have any feelings for me, or if you're just saying all this because you want money. But either way, it doesn't change how I feel about you. The second you said you wanted a divorce, I hated you from the bottom of my heart. You chose your money over me. You made that really clear during the divorce. Now, I'm indifferent. I couldn't care less about what happens to you.
Don't say that. That hurts more than being told you hate me. Please, I'm begging you for help. Could you at least have some pity for me? I need your help. We used to be married, remember? We spent 3 years living in the same house. We can forget about everything and start new together.
No thanks. You're the one that asked for a divorce despite the 3 years we spent together. So don't bring it up as a reason to get back together.
Then could you at least lend me some money? That's all I asked for. You said you've got money saved up. You can spare some, can't you? You made that money because of the money I gave you. You owe me. Come on, I don't even have a place to live. I'm begging you, Megan, help me out. I don't have anyone else to turn to.
I don't have any obligation to help you. You won $3 million and you told me that you didn't trust me with your money, saying that I might waste it all on shopping sprees. Only God knows where you got the idea that I would do that. You said you wanted to spend it how you liked and demanded I sign the divorce papers. And you left, taking all your money with you. Well, I'm telling you now that I'm free to spend the money I have however I like, including the money I got as compensation. I don't have a single cent to give you.
Then what am I supposed to do? The reason why you have so much money right now is because of the money I gave you. Don't you feel any gratitude towards me? You could at least give something back as thanks. It's not fair that you're living in a penthouse apartment and have money saved and still have a job. I don't have anything. How can I accept that?
Why should I care whether you accept it or not? You were living in a house filled with designer items and lived the celebrity life for a few months, didn't you? I hear that your new wife was quite beautiful, too. You didn't have to work and spent your days relaxing, sleeping, and eating, I guess. Do you remember what you told me when you left me? You said that you were rich and that you deserved better than a boring old woman like me, even though we're the same age. Even though you would be just as boring without that money. You said that you were going to find someone younger and prettier, someone that would suit your newfound fortune. Did you think I would forget that you said that?
I don't remember saying anything like that at all. But I'm sorry, I really am. I wasn't myself then. I didn't think that at all. I've never thought anything like that. You didn't think I was being serious, did you? Ever since we got divorced, I've been thinking about you. I just want to get back together. I realized after spending a few months living with my other wife that the only one for me was you. I need you, Megan.
Really? You need me? Thanks. I'm so flattered.
Is that all you have to say? I'm begging you here. Just listen to what I have to say, please. Can't you be a little interested just for a minute? I just need $1,000, that's all. I won't ask for any more than that. I'll pay you back. Megan, are you listening to me? If I have $1,000, I can buy lottery tickets again. I'll win a fortune, and I'll be able to give you all the money you want.
You've got to be kidding. I guess it's true that money drives people crazy. You hear a lot in the news about how people spent their winnings on something ridiculous, but I think you've outdone all of them. I've never heard of anyone that had to beg their ex for money to bet their chances on a second win. If you think that's the way out of your problems, then there's no helping you.
What do you mean there's no helping me? You can help me. I just need money. We can fix everything if we get back together and help each other through this. I want to start over with you. I love you. Don't you love me back? Don't you feel sorry for me?
You don't love me. You just love that I have something you don't. My money. And I don't need anything to be fixed. My life is great as it is now. It's not perfect yet, but you're not the one that will make it perfect. You need to learn to fix your behavior and fix your problems yourself. Don't bother me anymore.
I do love you. I only have you. Give me back my money.
It's not yours. I made this money because of the decisions I made. You lost yours because of the decisions you didn't think through. Don't ever message or call me ever again. You asshole. Let me give you the same parting gift you gave me. I deserve better than a boring old man like you. I'm going to find someone that loves me and live happily ever after without you. I'll be blocking your number, so don't try and contact me. Goodbye. After that, Megan blocked Carl's number and blocked him on all of the social networking they were connected on. Megan was able to forget about Carl pretty easily and was enjoying her peaceful life without him. She was living her ideal life, focusing on her career and coming home to the apartment she had taken care to furnish with things she loved. Carl, however, had used up what remained of his savings and still couldn't pass an interview because of his obvious lack of work ethic. He didn't change his attitude and blamed the interviewers for not passing him. As a result, he started borrowing money from loan sharks, and with that money, he began gambling at his nearest casino. Of course, it wasn't that easy to make a fortune, and the gambling only made his debt bigger and bigger. He was digging his own grave, but he still didn't change his attitude. After realizing how big his debt had gotten, he became desperate. But instead of trying for another job interview, he tried to steal money from a convenience store and was caught by the police. Megan found out about Carl's arrest on the morning news, but was too indifferent to care. She only remarked that money really does drive people crazy, and went on about her day as she usually would. Carl was just another stranger to her now.
Hey Tina, you there? I just wanted to let you know that I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. We're finally going to get to meet your parents and we can talk about the engagement in person. It really feels like this has been a long time coming.
I know. I'm really happy that we're finally getting to make this official. My parents are really excited for it too. I just really hope that you get along with my dad when you two meet each other tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. By the way, what does your dad do for a living again? And what college did he go to? I don't think my son ever told me.
Oh, and my dad didn't go to college. Actually, he dropped out of high school and only has his GED that he got later.
Wait, what? Are you serious? Your dad didn't even finish all 4 years of high school? What happened that things ended up like that?
Well, my dad comes from a really poor family, and basically he needed to work more than he needed an education at the time. I think it was because they were living with his grandma in the house, and so his family needed extra money to take care of everyone. But he worked hard and was able to leverage all of his working experience into being able to open up his own business. Honestly, I'm really grateful for all the hard work my dad has done to make his life and the lives of his family better.
Wow, I really had no idea about any of this at all. That's really crazy.
Yeah, but since both of our dads are so hardworking, I really do hope that they can get along well.
Let me get this straight. You're going to bring your uneducated dolt of a dad to my house tomorrow?
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? He's not uneducated. He's one of the best in his field.
I'm sorry, but if your dad couldn't even manage to finish high school, then I really can't see how he's anything but an idiot. I really had no idea the kind of person that your dad was, and I'm really disappointed in you. You've wasted mine and my son's time. I'm calling off this wedding. It's clear to me that you're not good enough to be with my son if this is the kind of family that you come from.
Hold on a second. You can't just decide that for yourself. That decision is between Dave and I. And just why do you care what kind of education my dad had when he clearly managed to make something of his life?
Because I can tell everything I need to know about someone from just their education. And you know, I looked into your background too. I was disappointed but not crushed. But now that I know this about your father, I'm afraid I'll have to call it all off.
Sir, please do not talk that way about my father. I really respect him, and you're not being fair at all. I understand that you're Dave's father, but you are being horribly rude to me right now.
So what? Who cares if I'm being rude to some idiot's daughter? Why don't you open your eyes and realize where you're standing right now?
Ron, you really need to stop this right now. You are taking all of this way too far. I mean, I really don't think that my dad's education level should have anything at all to do with me marrying your son. Do you really think that you can know all that you need to just from looking at someone's schooling? I really do think you're going to want to wait until tomorrow to hear about how my dad managed to turn his life around. I'm sure that once you have the full story that you'll change your mind and see how great my dad is.
What is this, some kind of cult or something? Because I don't need to hear any kind of story to be swayed. Besides, you're not going to be coming over tomorrow, and there isn't going to be any meeting.
I'm sorry, but we've had this scheduled for a long time. Dave and I are going to be getting married, and as our parents, you all are going to meet.
Is this really the way you want to start your relationship with your future father-in-law?
Please, Ron, I would really appreciate it if you could just wait until tomorrow before jumping to conclusions about my dad. Dave, are you there? I was just talking to your dad, and for some reason he was really hung up on my dad not finishing high school.
Wait, what? Sorry, where's all this coming from all of a sudden?
Tomorrow, Dave! I'm talking about our meeting tomorrow. Your dad just reached out to me and got really mad to find out my dad didn't even finish high school. He was calling him all sorts of names and just being generally horrible.
Ugh, did he really? But I'm not surprised, but I'm so sorry that he reached out to you just to tell all that to you. Yes, unfortunately my dad is an elitist. There's really no other way to put it. Even when I was little, he was always telling me that I'd be nothing if I didn't go to the best schools. I mean, I had to get therapy after I moved out of the house to undo some of the harm that had caused me growing up. But I didn't think he'd subject other people to his purity test.
Oh, Dave, I had no idea this was such an issue with your dad. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
I know, but that's all in the past. I just can't believe that he would say that about the father of the woman I'm going to marry.
Well, what do you think we should do about this? Do you want to cancel the meeting tomorrow? Your dad sounded like he wasn't all that interested in meeting my parents after our talk.
Well, no matter what he says, it isn't going to change the fact that we're getting married. I'm not going to let my dad's bigotry get in the way of that. I'll tell you that much. Let me talk to him and try to smooth all this out. Of course, I won't tell him what your dad actually does for a living. We can wait for tomorrow for him to find out himself.
Thanks for doing that, Dave. I know that my dad likes to tell his story himself so that it doesn't get misconstrued or anything.
Of course, I completely understand. I'll tell my dad to cool it on being so judgmental. I'm sure that he'll be really surprised when he finally meets your dad and talks to him a bit about what he does. I mean, even I was shocked after I met your dad and got to know him a bit better.
Everyone seems to react that way, but it's so weird because to me, he's just my dad. Of course, I have a lot of respect for him, but at the end of the day, he's my dad first, you know?
It makes perfect sense to me, but I really can't wait to see the look on my dad's face when he realizes who your dad really is. Maybe that'll finally knock some sense into him.
I guess we can only hope so.
I knew I was right to be suspicious, and yet you insisted on dragging your deadbeat dad to my house anyways. Well, I never ever want to see you even speak to my son again. Do you understand me?
Do you have any idea what you've done? You assaulted my dad all because I told you he didn't finish high school? You realize that you've committed a crime, don't you?
You really think that anyone is going to take the side of a loser family like yours? The wedding is off, and I want you to stay far away from my family. That's an order.
An order? Excuse me? And just who do you think you are to boss me around like that? I am not your child, nor your employee. Do you understand? You're the one who committed violence over someone's education level. If you think you're in any position to start giving orders, you are out of your mind.
Don't you dare talk back to me. You're just upset because I'm not going to let you marry into our elite family. But don't blame me. Blame your dad for never making anything of his life.
You mean even after insulting the man, you still have the gall to look down on him like that? Well, don't worry. We don't want anything to do with you ever again either. We'll call the wedding off, no problem.
Well, of course you will. I ordered you to do so. Did you really think that I was ever going to let a girl from a family like yours marry my son? But like I said, don't blame me for this. You can go and complain to your dad that it's his fault.
Oh, I've gone and talked to my dad. He told me that we'd stop doing business with you.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? What do you mean that you talked to your dad and he said that he would stop doing business with me?
Well, what other choice are you leaving him after what you did? After we got home, my dad called his HQ to see if we had any active contracts with your company, and he canceled them all. He told his secretary to tell your company to ask you why this was all happening.
What business are you even talking about? Why would your dad's crappy little shop be working for my company?
Wow. So you really still haven't figured it out then? I would have thought that you would just looking at my dad, but I guess you didn't recognize him.
What do you mean I didn't recognize him? Is he supposed to be famous or something? Why do you think I would have recognized some uneducated hick like him?
I guess I'll just have to come out and say it then. My dad is the company president of Carco.
Wait a second. Carco? You mean Carco as in the famous vehicle manufacturers? That company?
That's right. That's the one. And the president of that company is my dad. So what were you saying about how elite your family was again? How you were too good to let me marry your son? Because compared to my family, you're really nothing. I mean, you weren't even connected enough to recognize my dad when he was right at your door.
Now hold on just a second. Is this supposed to be some kind of joke or something? Even your dad didn't even finish high school. There's no way that he's president of a company like Carco.
You do realize that you're just digging yourself a deeper hole with every slight you make against him, right? Yes, my dad never graduated high school, but your mistake was in judging him for that.
Hold on. I just got a call from my company. They told us that Carco is canceling all their contracts with us. But then that means your dad is really...
That's right, I tried to warn you, but you just wouldn't listen to me. I just wish that I could be there in person to see your face right now. I bet the shock on it is just hilarious. But I'd imagine after this, you're getting fired and blacklisted from every company in the industry. Of course, what else could you really expect after acting the way you did to him?
But if we lose those contracts, then how is my company even supposed to stay open? Please tell me that you're joking. This can't be happening right now.
If you're so surprised, I wouldn't be. This is the natural outcome for someone like you. You were the one insulting my dad, and you were the one who assaulted him, and now you're paying the price for what you've done.
So then it's really true. Everything that you've been saying to me this whole time is really true?
Man, you really aren't as smart as you brag about being. Did you know that? For the last time, yes, it's true. But don't worry about canceling the marriage. I'm fine with that. I didn't want to join your family anyways. I already told Dave that I didn't want to have you as a father-in-law.
But wait, hold on. If you're really the daughter of the company president of Carco, then please accept my humblest apologies. Of course you can marry my son, and I'm sorry that I ever gave you any doubt to the contrary.
Wow, you really turned around quickly, didn't you? But I'm afraid that's not going to work on me. I don't want anything to do with you or your family ever again. I talked to Dave, and he said he was fine calling off the wedding as well.
Please wait. Don't say that. I know I said I didn't want you two to get married, but that's not my choice to make. That should be between you and my son.
I know, and I talked to your son, and we said that we were calling off the engagement.
But I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Well, because I told him that if we got married, I wouldn't want to have any contact with you ever again.
Wait, so then, if you two got married, then Dave would never ever talk to me again? What did he say to that?
Well, I told him that, and he said he'd have to think about it, and I told him that I'd respect his decision. So the wedding is off.
But wait, please. Can't you just let me try and talk to your parents and smooth all this over? I'm sure that I could if you just give me a chance.
That is not going to happen. You do realize that you assaulted my dad, right? What makes you think that I'm going to arrange for a meeting for you after you've done that?
Please. I really had no idea at all who your dad was, and that was a huge mistake on my part. I realize that now. I had no idea that things were going to turn out this way.
Well, I don't see why you think that's our problem. You did this, now accept responsibility like an adult, including for the assault.
So what? You're really going to charge me for what I did? Please. I didn't think that I committed a crime or anything like that. It was just a little fight within the family, that's all.
Fight within the family? How could that be when I'm not married to your son yet? And did you really think you could get away with punching someone in the face just because they didn't finish high school?
But I mean, assault sounds so bad. I really didn't think that it would end up this way.
Just because you finally realized that you've actually done something wrong doesn't mean that anything is going to change. Besides, we've already decided that we're going to file a police report.
No, please don't do that. Why would you go to the police about this?
Because you punched my dad. Are you really not following this at all?
But if the police show up for what I did, then they might arrest me. I'll be in serious trouble if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the whole point of calling the police on someone. You're a criminal, and you should be punished.
Tina, please, don't do this to me. I know you might not like me, but I'm still your fiance's father. Is this any way to be treating your elders?
Excuse me? Wow, that is really rich. But I have every right to do this because you broke the law.
I knew I shouldn't have tried to talk about this with a woman. Could you please just let me talk to your dad? This is something that should be settled between us men. We know what we're doing.
Wow, did you really think that was going to work? Did you think that jumping from elitism to sexism was going to make me want to help you?
Just tell me where your dad is. I just want to apologize to him. Isn't that what you think I should do?
I'm not going to tell you where my dad is, and frankly, I think you should just wait for the police to show up.
Please, just tell me where your dad is. This should just be between him and I.
And why would I let a criminal that assaulted my dad anywhere near him? That would just be irresponsible.
Please, stop calling me a criminal. I didn't even do anything wrong. You shouldn't be talking to me that way.
You're right. You're not a criminal yet. You have to be arrested and processed first. But then, after that, you're nothing but a criminal, and you'll have a record that will follow you forever. You'll never be able to escape it. You used to pride yourself on judging others for their education all this time. You thought you could tell all that you needed to about someone just from what schools they went to. Well, now you'll have a very different kind of record. Though, I'm not sure you'll want to brag about it.
Please, don't do this to me. You're going to ruin me. Don't you get it? What am I supposed to do? Please don't punish me for this. I didn't know.
After that, Dave reached out to me and told me about how the police arrived to arrest his dad. He told me about how his dad begged not to be taken away, but seeing as how my dad's company contributes a lot to the annual policeman's ball, the cops were all too happy to take Ron away. I know that I told Ron the wedding was off, but that was just to add a little bit more pressure to him and make him sweat. After his dad was taken away, Dave said that he talked to his mom, who was going to be getting a divorce from Ron, and that they were both going to cut Ron off and never talk to him again. While he was in jail awaiting trial, Ron got a call from his company saying that he was fired for his misconduct and for damaging the business. After his firing, my dad renegotiated the canceled contract so Ron's company wouldn't pay for his stupidity. Ron tried to reach out to Dave and ask for his help in setting everything right, but by then, the both of us had already blocked his number. I have no idea what Ron is up to now, but the wedding for Dave and I is still on schedule. The night that we were supposed to have our family meeting, Dave came to my house and apologized profusely to my dad. My dad laughed it off and said that he didn't blame Dave and that he still wanted us to get married. We both know that we've been through a lot, but we're still very much looking forward to the day when we can call each other husband and wife.